Okay. There we have it. Can you see the assignment now?
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right. We're starting about a minute early, about 30 seconds early. Looking at my clock here. And why don't we take, we got 3 of you in here. So that's not good. Okay. So let's go down from right here, what I've highlighted. And James, I'm going to start with you first. And we'll come back to Chris, and then we'll go back to Thomas if you want to try it. Okay. Okay. Go ahead.
Okay. De necessidad ta hopla tu photos. And I translated that as it is necessary to clothe ourselves with armor of light, or the armor of light.
Okay. So it is necessary to close. All right. And your file, original file, didn't have this segment. I think you mentioned that last week.
Correct.
All right. It was left out. I think that's a good translation. This is from Deo. And would you parse it for us? First, and so forth. Okay. Oh, A say. A is what?
Oh, you're talking third person singular?
Yes. Well, can you tell me about the verb, though, day? It's got a special use here.
Okay. It is necessary, yes.
It's necessary, and it is necessary. It's impersonal. So it's impersonal. It's necessary. So. Now, this is like you have a binding, you have chains on your hand. We hear people say, well, my hands are tied in this matter. I can't do anything about that. Well, that's this basic word. Your hands are tied. And so it is necessary. I'm bound. I'm obligated. So we're bound. It is necessary to we're clothed in what?
Whoops.
Is everyone okay?
Yeah, there's a little noise in the background there, but okay. Someone, all right, it's okay. Now it's quiet. Okay, it's okay. We're okay. I'm not, it's not me.
Okay.
Okay, induce thigh. Induce that's thigh. And what parse that for me, if you would. What part of speech is it, and voice and all that, okay?
It's infinitive.
That's correct.
From enduo.
Enduo.
And it's aorist tense.
Aorist tense, that's correct. What voice?
Middle voice.
Okay, enduo is almost always middle voice, okay? In the scriptures, okay? It's middle voice. So it is necessary to clothe ourselves, say, middle voice. And clothe ourselves with the armor of light. Okay. All right, now, what is the subject, basically? And actually, infinitives don't actually have subjects, but it functions like a subject for the infinitive there. What case should it be in? Now, finite verbs, case of the subject is in what case, everybody? Somebody help me. Finite verbs have their subject in what case? How about
subject, object?
The subject of a finite verb is always in the nominative case, okay? All right, now, what about an infinitive? What case is it? It's in the accusative case, isn't it? Okay. All right. Remember that? Do we need to go over and review it just a bit? So we could have a complex subject, the main subject doing something, then the direct object, which would be the accusative case, it could be doing something else. That would be a compound complex sentence, or a complex sentence at least. So you'd have one subject, and then you'd have the direct object actually doing something, and you'd use an infinitive for it. What case is ta hopla? Anybody help me? You can tell by the article. Okay. Again, don't everybody talk at once. Is it accusative? Is that what you do yourself? All right. It is necessary. The armor of light to undo, to put on. See? So yes, it's the armor that's being put on. Okay. All right, let's move on to the next one. Okay. Let's see here. Chris, can you go down from the cursor to the end of the line? Okay.
I'd be glad to. I am missing my paper. I can't find it, but let me read that and I'll do the best I can while I'm looking for this. So, oti phenomen hos phota in miso ginos skolios. So, oti, that, phenomen, I don't recall. Hos is an adverb of manner, as phota, light, in I don't remember miso, generation, crooked.
Misos is in the midst.
In the midst of a crooked generation.
Yes. Okay, now this is from Phino. I think that was one of our, let me see here. Maybe Phino was one of our, no, it wasn't. Okay. Phino. We've had it before. Okay, Phino, to make manifest. Okay. All right, make clear or to shine.
Similar to Delil.
All right. What did you say?
It's similar to Delil, I believe. In meaning.
Okay. Let's go over here and look at, and I'll get into my grammar. Let's see. Yes. All right. Phino is to bring forth into the light, or to show. Is that what you were saying there, James? Right.
And in that direction, I was more along the make manifest, as you had previously indicated.
Yeah. So you bring it to light, you make it manifest, you make it clear.
Correct.
Right? All right. So let's go back to our passage. And there's an omen ending, say, so that would be what person.
Third person, plural.
Third person,
I mean,
first person.
First
Person, plural.
We,
Omen at the Uzi.
as we shine.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, so
We
yeah.
shine.
Shine like stars. So yeah, I believe that's from Philippians 2. Is a takeoff of that.
Well, it probably is. I probably need to research it and find it. I label some of the other stuff, and I'll if you think it's Philippians 2, kind of let me know, and I'll look it up and put it in the book. Okay.
Sure.
For future reference. I want to look at Hoti. Okay. We're going to come back over here and look at Hoti. I had it filed up ready to go.
I translated because there instead of that. I suppose either might work.
Yeah. Yeah, and Hoti can give you, It's an interesting word. It's found a bunch of times in the New Testament. Prosigmata. It's from. No, that's not the word I was looking for. All right, let's go back. We have a word down there. This is a word I will get to later. That's what I have up on the screen, okay? Hoti is different. It's actually from this same root word. So let's look at hotinase. This is plural. We'll go back to it now. It's host and tees. Anyone who, hostis, that's our word. And that's that word we'll come to later, okay? But hoti is related to it. It's the neuter form of that word is all it is. It's a neuter form of this word here, of this pronoun, okay? And we'd have to go down and find it, but let's just come to it later. We'll come back on it later, okay? So scoliosis is curvature of something, and usually it's curvature of the spine. So that can happen. What happens? We had one of the other elder's wife, his wife Judy. She had vertebrae that kind of collapsed up in the upper part of her back, and her body then tried to shift to offset to keep the body balanced. And when it did, it made curvature of the spine, and they've had to do some surgery on her. That's Jerry Gore's wife. Okay. So she had surgery on Thursday. Okay. She's doing okay, hopefully, and it'll take a little while to recover from that surgery. They had a fuse to her spine. Okay. Any questions? But scoliosis is crooked, and genaios is generation. So it's a crooked in the midst of a crooked generation. And of course,
I found my note. I did put down here Philippians 2:15. So I found my paper, and that's what I wrote. I think it's to take of Philippians 2:15.
Okay. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to do this. I'm just going to write it over here. Where is that? Right here. All right. Okay. Philippians 2:15.
Yes.
All right, I'll just save that file. That should do it. All right, we'll go back to it now. This will make the book more useful to other students later, other students. Okay, now let's come down to the next line, and let's go here. Now, who am I? Is it Thomas that's ready? Thomas, you want to take this?
I will try and read it, but would like for somebody else to explain
Translate.
it.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Tuto gar umin sum feri.
Okay. All right. So tuto gar humin sum fere is what? Either one of you, James or Chris.
I put a 4 for gar, post positive, and tuto this demonstrative pronoun umin, to you all or for you all, dative plural of su, is profitable. It'd be third person singular.
Okay.
For this, to you all is profitable.
Okay. This word is used, it's profitable, or sometimes it's carried the idea of it being expedient. I think the idea of being expedient. Now notice, look at this word. I'm going to break it apart. It's two words, and the mu actually was started out, but by the rules of when they put them together, it was this. Here's what it was: soon Pharaoh. Does that make sense? That's what it was originally, and two words. then of course they put it together, and the new become a moo because of the phi sound. And so sum Pharaoh. And Pharaoh, remember, my memory hook for that is old Pharaoh made the children of Israel bear burdens. So I bear, see, and the idea of carrying or bearing something. And then soon is with, so everybody's having to work together. And so everybody's working together. That's the way I view it. So it's expedient or it's profitable. It's profitable. And everybody's doing, working together with it, kind of. That's how I view the word. Are there comments there? And you'll see this word used several times in the New Testament. And it's usually in this form right here. It may be an impersonal form of it, actually. It's profitable. Okay. Now, are there questions? All right. James, let me see here. Would you go down to the end of the line? I don't know that that's a break in the verse, but let's just go down to the end of the line if we would, all the way down to here. What I've got highlighted, please.
Oh, okay. Oitenes u monon to poiesai, alakai to thalain.
Okay.
And
Okay.
as far as translation, I don't know that I have anything good here, a confession. But I had something similar to what Chris had for the first part of the verse. And I have who are not only doing, but also willing to begin. Oh, I'm going too far.
That's all right. Okay.
Also to begin beforehand a year ago, so which
Okay.
is the part down there.
It's down to there. Okay. From a year ago. Okay. That's good. All right. Now, not only what to do now, the article right here with an infinitive makes it an event. It's not only the doing and then say, but it's the what. And again, that's another event. That's the thinking, the willing. It's not just the doing, but the willing. And so think of these as events because they've got the article with the infinitive. All right. Does that help a bit?
Yeah, I translated it with the doing, and I was not comfortable with it.
It's almost like a gerund. It becomes like a gerund here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So the Greek infinitive doesn't do exactly the same thing an English infinitive does. That's our problem, right? It is a verbal that has, in this case, it has like it has case to it. Okay, so it almost is acting like basically pretty much like a gerund in English. And see, oo does not modify an infinitive. May modifies infinitives. Infinitives are modified by may. I'll do it over here on the top of the screen. If we take an infinitive, the negative of infinitive is may, not oo. That clear? So this doesn't negate the infinitives, right? And so it's negating a verb, a finite verb somewhere, okay? And we do have a finite verb down here. So that's kind of, most people wanted to negate the infinitives, but they're negated by may. It's not just not being, not only being, say, might be a being verb that's elliptical right here, like a may, say, not just being I'm just not only to do the event of doing, but the event of willing, see. That's, you got to almost explain it with commentary. Okay. All right. Any comments there?
The chi.
Go ahead. Sorry.
Sorry. Go ahead. All right. The chi there I debated on even or also. Is there, I didn't think and was appropriate.
I think even or also is a proper interpretation, but also the see, it's not only the doing, not only being the doing, but it is being the willing. We have to do and will both. We could do what God tells us to do and like give as we've been prospered, but do it grudgingly or necessity, and God wouldn't be happy with us. Does that make sense? And grudgingly of necessity, but God loves a what kind of giver?
Cheerful.
Cheerful.
Yes. So that's our situation. So it takes both the doing and the willing, and these are events. Okay.
So you connected the oo with mono.
No, I connected the oo with a verb that is modified by mono. Okay.
Which is which verb?
Well, an elliptical verb, but some elliptical verb make probably a being verb.
Oh, okay. All right. Good
like
enough.
Me or like ginomai, one of those two words.
Makes sense. I got it. Thank you.
Because it does not negate. All the authorities tell us infinitives are not negated by oo, they're negated by may. So it's not negating these two infinitives. Now it might be down here that it's negating this word here beforehand, but that's quite a ways away from it. All right. So normally they'll be pretty close to it. It usually, the rule is it goes before the verb it modifies or it negates, not after it. So it was not negating anything over here. So it would be something following it. And this verb down here is quite a ways away from it. Not, it's just almost too far to really think of it being negated there, okay? All right. Any questions or comments? Now, Allah contrasts two things that are in different groups. Well, the doing and the willing are in two separate categories, aren't they? One is actions and one is your purposes and intents. And so that's what we have here. All right. This gets back to our thelomai and bulomai that we got off onto last week. Incidentally, if you looked at the audio tapes on that or the videotapes, I'm saving them. And sometime in the future, I'll just make a file for everybody and give them to you. But you can download them, of course, yourself. But what we got there is it broke it into two files. And it kept recording, but whenever I went out and got into my which I didn't have called up, when I got into my eSword file, it broke my file and made it a separate recording. It still recorded it. I didn't lose it, but it's two recordings. One of them was about 10 minutes long, the other was about 40 minutes long. Okay. So if you did that, there were two files. If you are downloading it, there were two files last week. All right. This over here is, what word is this down here? All right. See the word pro? Pro is what?
Toward.
Before,
Oh,
toward. Pros is toward, and pro is like before. Okay.
yes.
All right.
Correct.
All right. So, and this is pros in erkomai. And so this is from erkomai. And so it is what parse it for me, somebody.
I have a aorist indicative middle second person plural.
Right there is an augment that tells you it's either aorist or what else? What two tenses? What two tenses are augmented?
Imperfect.
Imperfect
Okay.
and aorist. So it's got to be one of those. And this ending over here is either aorist or future, but the augment tells you it's aorist. See, so this is aorist tense. You're correct, there, Chris. Okay. So it is what person?
second person plural.
Person plural, correct. And it's active voice. And it's pro in erkomai. So the augment is after the N, and the epsilon gets augmented and becomes an eta. And that's erkomai. This part here is from erkomai. Right? And so before, and it's before in to come. And to begin beforehand. See, that's what he says, to begin beforehand. Right? And so this is the idea to come beforehand. Right? So I was beginning beforehand. Apo is what, and the perusi is what? Perusi. What case is this?
Adjective.
Ablative, because apo only goes with the ablative case, doesn't it? Okay. Now, remember this, don't get it backwards. It's not ablative because apo is there. It was ablative, and that's what made it choose apo. Does that make sense? Don't get the cart before the horse. So the ablative case limited what prepositions they could modify it with, and apo was one of the prepositions it could use. So it is ablative case. Without apo, it still would have been ablative. We just couldn't prove it. The context would tell us it's ablative a year ago. All right. Now, let me see here. Let's do this. Who read last? I've forgotten. I'm sorry. I'm kind of lost. Do you remember who read last? Was it Chris or was it? No, I think it was you there, James.
Yes, sir. I think so too.
Chris, would you do this for us here now? This next one here.
Yes. Yes. Okay.
Okay.
Nuni de kai to poiese epi tel S8. Epitel S8. All right, Nuni, just now, and day is but just now, even the doing you complete is how I put it literally. And I put this previous section in this one was 2 Corinthians 8:10 and 2 Corinthians 8:11.
Okay. And again, the article with this means it's an event, doesn't it? Think of it that way. That's a good way to view it. All right. And again, noon is now, and nooni is just now, as you translated it. That's correct. So it makes it a little more emphatic just at this very instant. But at this instant of this time, also, or even the doing, you have completed now. And that teleo is to finish or to complete something. But epi is really getting up on top of it, really thoroughly completing it, isn't it? Okay. Any questions there? Epi teleo. And I'll write it out here so we can see it. And then I'll just put it in simple font, and there's our verb. Don't have the accent marks on it, but with an accent on the epsilon and a smooth breathing on the epsilon here. That'll do it. So that's our verb. And so what we have here, we have epi, upon, and we have teleo, to finish or to complete. Okay. So that's what that word means. Right? And you complete. But now also the doing, you have completed the doing of the event. So you've completed the event. Does that help us a bit to see with that article? Kind of think of it like an event. The doing of something. The deed. That's what we say today. You've completed the deed. Okay. And okay.
What's the idea? What's the idea there of using the imperative?
Imperative?
Yeah, instead of just aorist.
Well,
What's it's, I'm trying to grasp the concept. I know there are times the
It's
imperative is
beginning,
used.
it's telling them to not just to complete the event, to complete the doing,
Okay,
to finish it out. But now also the event, the doing, finish it out. You begin to finish it.
yeah,
Aorist
I
infinitive
I'm
is
sorry.
always beginning of something, command them to begin it. Present infinitive is to command them to keep on doing it. That's the difference. Go ahead now. What are you going to say? I'm sorry.
Well, when I was translating this, I had an urge to put in the word must. You must complete.
That's okay because the imperative would imply it. Okay. But the aorist infinitive actually gets the idea of beginning it, to begin to finish, to begin this act of finishing. It usually means they haven't been doing it. They haven't done it, haven't got it done yet. So they need to start it and begin this act. If you have may with the aorist infinitive, it's the don't begin it. And if it's may with the present infinitive, it's don't. It means stop doing it. Say. So we got 4 ways we can take the infinitives. I'll lay them out here.
Could it be that if they begin something and they stop, would the aorist imperative still be used in the idea of begin again, so to speak?
Probably, I would think so.
Okay.
So we have an aorist in imperative plus it actually implies on a positive, it means begin it. All right. The present imperative means continue doing it. Okay. All right. So we have a aorist imperative. It could be aorist subjunctive also. Carries the idea of equal. Don't begin it.
That's with may, right?
Right, right. Plus may. I need to put a may in there. Thank you. Plus. I'll do that may. That's our rules. Then we have a present imperative plus may equals stop. All right, so that'll be your may. Does that help a bit? Now, this is all over in this file. I'm sorry, wrong file. It's all over in this file toward the end of it. And I'll come back to it in just a few minutes. Maybe I can do it at the end of class and we can look at it some more. But that's very helpful in your understanding of the text itself, right? So this is aorist imperative, see. That's aorist imperative. I see it right here. Yeah, that's aorist imperative, okay? And so it's begin to do it. Any questions? I don't have my diacritical markings on these, but by themselves, it'd be an acute. If it's in a verse, it's probably a grave. All right, go ahead. What you're going to say? I'm sorry.
Well, yeah. Sorry, somebody else speaking?
No, it was you.
Oh, okay. Yeah, this struck me a little bit because in James 3:1, it says, let not many of you become teachers. I believe that's a present imperative. So it would say, stop teaching.
Well, it stopped being teachers in the context who are not living right and who are not considering all the requirements of being a good teacher.
Yeah, the translation, though, let not many of you become teachers, is as if it had not begun.
That's right. And if it's present imperative, I think it is. I think you're right. Then the translation is not correct.
Okay, that's what I was wondering. Thank you very much. This
All right.
you laid it out, and I recall now that you did. Thank you.
All right. Anybody else got questions? You'll find the New American Standard Version is kind of Jekyll Hyde. Sometimes it translates these exactly this way, and sometimes it just goes back like the other translations. It doesn't make those distinctions. I don't know why they're not consistent, but I can about half the time they'll translate it with these points in mind. The other half they don't. I just don't understand it. I don't know how they translate that James 3:1. It was verse 1, I'm pretty sure, wasn't it, James?
Yes, sir.
I don't know how they translated that. It'll take me a moment to get this file out. I'll undo it.
Thank you very much for doing that. That's good refresher. I appreciate it.
Okay. All right. From a year ago. But now, complete the doing, see? Complete the doing. All right. Hopos Kotharper. Now, what is that? Just somebody help me with that. Hopos Kotharper.
Opos, so that. Two words that's a conjunction there. And koth, a pair, just as. So that just as is what I have.
Okay. All right. Now then, let's go over here to this and let's take it down. I guess just go down to the end. Now the Ec 2 goes with, let's go to all the way to the end of the sentence, okay? All the way down to here. And Chris, you do the last one, didn't you?
I thought James did the last one, but I could be wrong. No, I did. Maybe I did that.
James, can you do this one here?
Yes, sir.
All right.
Hey, epithumia to Tholain. Hutos kaito epi tolasai. Ek tu ekeng.
Okay.
And I'm again uncertain of my translation. How there was a desire in order to wish this, and I have it says might be, but I kind of change that around a little bit, and bring to an end in order to have.
Okay. Again, these are articular infinitives, aren't they? So they're events that bring to an end, say, out of the having, the supplying. That's kind of it. Was this from our passage in First Thessalonians? Can't remember.
I believe you referenced it as 1 Thessalonians 3:1-5, or part of it. Further down, you make that note.
Okay. So I think that's what it is. It's 1 Thessalonians 3. That's what this is. And so we're right out of the text of that passage. And so this is the desire of the event of willing. I say I had the event, or think of that as the act of willing. Right? My desire was to will, and I had this desire to will. Now, let's see. I've lost a word that we had somewhere, and I didn't go back to this here. I wanted to go back to this word. I'm going to go back. I apologize. I got this set up over, and I want to go to it. This word here And let's go back and look at it, if I might here. Hoitenase. It's found a bunch of times in the New Testament, and it is a pronoun, but it's got some special, it's kind of special. So let's kind of look at it very carefully here. And so, who, and he tells us it's who, but let's look at it over here, see what it is. It's from hos and tes. So it's two pronouns put together to make another pronoun, anyone who, but not just anyone who, it's whosoever, it's denoting a special class. Anyone who is of this category, of this kind. See, that's what Thayer is telling you. Anyone of this nature, of such a nature that. Summers tells us it's qualitative in nature. It usually simply is translated who, but the meaning is far more than that. The expression who is of such a nature is a good translation. So whenever we see this pronoun, you need to be careful of it because it's somebody of this nature. I think of it this way. It's setting a category of people of a certain nature. And that really opens up some passages where you find it. I don't know how many times it's found, but I think it's found several hundred times in the New Testament. Now I'm going to go back over here to this file, and this is toward the end. I have this pronoun again here, hostes. Huh. Thought I had it back here. There it is. I don't have it in here how many times it's found in the New Testament. I'm sorry. All right. Thought I had it in here. How many times? It's there a bunch of times, though. Kind of keep that in the back of your mind. So when you find this hostes, it's somebody, it's putting a category of people. It's saying whoever's of this category. So the category would have been explained in the prior part of the context. So you need to look in the immediate context, see what he's talking about. I'm thinking of like in Galatians 5, and such like, sins of such like, similar type idea. All right. Any questions or comments there? Okay. But the lust, the desire of the will, and whose host is what now? What part of speech was that? I'm sorry. Is that
an adverb?
It's an adverb of manner, isn't it? The host ending is the ending for a manner, adverb of manner. And so, okay, thusly, we could translate it thusly, although that's not very much used as an English word, but it is a word. And this manner, see, even or also the completing of it, see, the fulfilling, and that's epiteleo again that we had earlier. And again, it's an infinitive, the event, it's an event, see, the finishing of it, out of the coming, out of the having. All right. And so we're going to get into, as soon as we finish Romans on Tuesday nights, we're going to go right into 1 Thessalonians. So we'll be covering that. Probably this semester we'll actually translate this again and we'll put it in its context. Okay. Any questions? All right. Okay. This again, I think is from 1 Thessalonians. Did I say 1 Timothy? I meant 1 Thessalonians. I don't know what I said. All right. Okay, let's try down here and let me do this. Let me see. Who hasn't read last? Who was last? Hey, Thomas, could you read part of this? Even though you don't translate it, could you read it? Take a
I'll do
stab
my
at it.
best.
Okay.
Udok SMN, Kata Leif Thenai, Kai Epim Fulmen, Timotheo To.
Okay. All right. So what do you have here? Someone help us out on the translation. What does the ooh at the beginning of the word indicate?
Good.
Okay, that's good. And this is from dokeo to seem, isn't it? So it what?
I put we thought it best, or we could say we seemed it best. I don't know. We thought it best is how I did it.
Okay. All right. All right. It seemed good to me. It thought it best. Okay. To what? What part of speech is that? Somebody?
Aorist infinitive, passive.
Okay. So it's a passive infinitive, and that's to be left down or behind. See? All right. Or to be left behind. Kai and what?
We sent.
Okay.
Aorist indicative active. We sent.
Okay, that's from Pimpo.
Yes.
Okay. And so Pimpo is to send. And so we have Pim Saman, and we have an augment here. And then we have a sigma becomes a C, doesn't it? And so what that verb would be what tense?
I put aorist.
It's an augment, it's got a sigma, it's got to be an aorist, doesn't it? The sigma turned into a C, didn't it? Because of the rules. Okay. So that's aorist, first person or second or third, or what person is it?
First person plural.
First plural.
First person plural. Good. Pimpo. Okay. Who did we send? Who did they send? We sent. Who did they send?
Timothy.
Speaking of Timothy.
Timothy. Now, for what? See this infinitive down here. Now we stop reading about right there. So let's come down to here all the way. And so I guess we go back. I don't know what in the order we have. Is it Chris? Back to Chris?
I'll take it.
Okay. And then we'll take James next after that. Okay.
Faith.
And read what I've got highlighted. Does the highlighting mess it up so you can't read it, or is that okay?
No, I need that. That's great.
All right.
All right. To sterezai umos kai parakaleesai umos perites pistuos.
All right. He sent Timothy what?
To strengthen you and to encourage you. For Perea, put concerning the faith.
I believe that's concerning the faith. All right. So he sent him to what'd you say, to strengthen?
I put
Establish?
to strengthen and encourage.
To help them to stand, to establish them, right? And to exhort or encourage. Could be either exhort or encourage. To console even, okay? And so to control or exhort or establish them, all right? And concerning the faith. Now notice the article with the word pisteos. What does that usually indicate?
The gospel.
It indicates it is a system, see, so it's treating it that, and so that would be the gospel, the New Testament. Everyone agree? The faith, okay? Any questions or comments? Okay, this gets us pretty close to the end of our material. Why don't we just take James? Could you do
Yes.
the rest of it?
Yes, sir.
It's all on the screen up there. Okay, highlighted.
All right. Dia tuto epempsa tu ganonai tein pistin humon. And I have, through this, I sent to know your faith.
Okay. It has the article here, but it's their faith, see? And so, how are you established in the faith? How do you stand in the faith? How does your faith stand in the faith? That's in the context. That's what I view it. And in other words, how are you standing according to the scriptures? How are you doing with your spiritual life? Again, we have Pemto again, don't we? But we have an augment in Pemsa. And on account of this, see, on account of this, I sent to know. And again, this is an articular infinitive for the event of knowing, for the purpose of knowing, see. What did you want to know? The what? The faith of you, your faith. Okay. Any questions? We just about took the whole hour. Okay, but I got off and did several other things. But now we're ready for the next lesson next week. Okay, chapter 31. Took an extra week on this, but I don't think it hurt us. All right, next week we'll start with chapter 31. Are there questions?
Thank you.